If a man wants something physical with you, what does he quietly pay attention to? While it might seem shallow at first, psychology gives some surprising insights into human attraction, intention, and desire. When it comes to physical interest, a man's eyes often reveal far more than anything he says. In psychology, eye movement is one of the most reliable nonverbal signals, especially when connected to strong physical attraction. When a man feels drawn to a woman, his gaze often shifts instinctively to certain areas of her body that reflect health, beauty, and natural vitality. While steady, gentle eye contact is usually linked to emotional or romantic interest, physical desire often follows a different visual pattern that becomes easier to notice when you pay attention. Studies using eye-tracking research show that men's eyes tend to move in predictable ways when they are looking at someone they find physically appealing. These reactions are automatic and often happen in a fraction of a second. A man who feels mainly physical attraction may allow his eyes to drift toward the chest, waist, hips, or legs, areas tied to natural markers of well-being. A balanced waist-to-hip ratio, for example, has long been connected to health and naturally draws the eye. This doesn't always mean he is being disrespectful. Most of the time, it's an unconscious response shaped by biology. Still, learning to recognize these signals can help you understand whether a man sees you as a full person or mostly through a physical lens. The differences in his gaze can be subtle. A man who values your ideas and personality is more likely to maintain calm, steady eye contact, especially when you're speaking. His attention stays on your face, and his expressions show genuine emotional presence. But if he is more focused on your body, his eyes may wander. He might look at your lips as you talk, or quickly glance downward when he thinks you aren't watching. These looks are usually brief and natural, but when they repeat, they form a noticeable pattern. This behavior, often called visual scanning, reveals far more about his intentions than one long stare ever will. Timing also matters. If his eyes move below your face within seconds of meeting you, it may suggest he's forming physical impressions first. But if he holds eye contact at the start and only later lets his gaze shift a little, it may show a mix of emotional and physical interest. The human brain processes visual cues extremely fast. Within 200 milliseconds of seeing someone, a man may unconsciously register physical attraction. His eyes react even before he has time to form clear thoughts or speak. This is why you shouldn't judge based on one glance alone, but instead watch for patterns across time. One quick look means little, but repeated glances along with other signals can communicate much more. Some men also know how to use strong eye contact to create the feeling of emotional closeness, even when their true focus is mostly physical. This is why it's wise to pay attention to his overall behavior, not just his eyes. Body language experts say that true emotional interest usually comes with warm, steady, and responsive eye contact. In contrast, physical desire often includes quick scanning glances across certain areas. Even tiny changes like pupil widening can be a clue. When a man feels drawn to someone, his pupils may expand slightly without him realizing it. Most people never notice this, but it's another small reflex tied to attraction. Another sign is the lingering look. If you turn away and later catch him still watching you, especially anywhere below your face, it often shows a strong physical pull. These reactions are natural and deeply rooted. Even now, in modern environments where people try to be more controlled, the eyes still reveal more than many expect. But when you're trying to understand if a man is mainly interested in something physical, it's not only about whether he looks, it's about where he looks, how often, and what kind of emotional feeling his eyes carry. His gaze speaks long before he says anything. Beyond eye contact, body language is one of the most honest ways to understand someone's true intentions. Words can be practiced or controlled, but physical cues almost always reveal what is happening inside without him noticing. When a man feels a strong physical pull, his body typically reflects it through automatic signals. These patterns become clearer when you pay attention. One early sign is posture. A man who is romantically or physically interested usually stands with an open posture, uncrossed arms, chest slightly lifted, and feet pointed toward you. He may also try, without conscious thought, to appear taller, stronger, or more confident. Behaviors linked to deep evolutionary responses, leaning in when you speak, tilting his head as if he's listening closely, or standing just a little too near, are ways he might try to create closeness. If he regularly finds reasons to stay near you, lightly brushing past you, choosing a seat beside you even when others are available, he could be testing your comfort around him. Physical closeness is a strong sign, even when it appears casual. Light, casual touch is another clue. If he quickly brushes something off your shoulder, gently guides you by lightly touching your back, or taps your arm during conversation, these small actions often carry more meaning than they appear to. It's not the single touch that matters, but the repetition and the feeling behind it. A man with little physical interest rarely looks for reasons to create small moments of contact. Even grooming gestures can reveal something. Adjusting his collar, smoothing his hair, straightening his sleeves, or checking his appearance are all signs linked to wanting to look better around someone he finds appealing. These gestures often happen automatically. You might also notice changes in his overall energy. He may seem more lively, smile more often, or use bigger hand movements. His voice might become calmer or deepen slightly, a subtle way of showing confidence and attraction. Another sign is when his whole body faces you. Experts call this fronting. When his torso, feet, and face all aim toward you, it's a strong indicator of focus and interest. Mirroring is another meaningful clue. If he copies your gestures, posture, or even your speech rhythm, it often shows comfort and a quiet sense of connection. Whether it's returning your smile or shifting his position to match yours, these small actions typically mean he feels aligned with you. Sometimes his body may show a mix of ease and slight tension, shoulders relaxed but hands fidgeting, posture straightened but movements controlled. This blend often shows he is trying to remain composed while feeling a strong pull towards you. In the end, body language rarely lies. When you notice open posture, gentle touches, grooming gestures, mirroring, and changes in energy appearing again and again, it usually means there is more than casual friendliness. His body, even without words, is expressing a deeper interest. While it's important not to assume too much from one small gesture, observing these signs over time can help you understand whether a man is focused on truly knowing you or mostly on the physical side. When small signals repeat often, they form a clear psychological picture of a man whose intentions go beyond ordinary friendship. His facial expressions and the way his eyes behave provide some of the strongest clues about what he feels, especially in the early stages of attraction. And while direct eye contact is discussed most often, his gaze does not always stay fixed on the same place, eyes alone. Where his eyes settle on your face and how he reacts to your expressions often reveals much more about what's going on in his mind, even when his words don't match it. One often ignored sign of strong interest is the way his attention shifts to your lips. From a psychological point of view, the lips are a powerful zone connected with closeness and gentle affection. A man who feels drawn to you may catch himself watching your mouth as you talk. This usually isn't planned or intentional. It's more of a natural reaction linked to anticipation. You might notice his eyes moving between yours and your lips, especially during quiet moments or when your voice softens. It's a silent hint of where his thoughts may be drifting, even if he doesn't express anything directly. Another meaningful clue shows up in micro-expressions. These are brief, almost invisible flashes of emotion crossing someone's face in less than a second. A man who feels a pull towards you may show tiny signs of excitement, happiness, or even nervousness the moment he sees you. These reactions are nearly impossible to fake or fully control, which is why experts like psychologists and trained observers watch for them closely. If his eyes open slightly, his eyebrows lift, or the corners of his mouth shift upward when you enter the room, these may be automatic signs of interest. Likewise, a soft smile, a quiet laugh, or gently parted lips during conversation can all point to underlying tension or connection. Facial expressions are closely tied to emotional engagement. A man who is both emotionally and physically drawn to someone often smiles more. Not just any smile, but a genuine one that touches his eyes. In psychology, this is called a Duchenne smile, and it reflects real pleasure. Unlike polite smiles that fade quickly, if his face brightens around you, especially when nothing particularly funny is happening, it likely isn't about humor. It's your presence lifting his mood. That spark of joy often grows from deeper feelings. The way he positions his face matters as well. A man who keeps his face turned toward you even when other people are nearby is showing attention and a desire to stay connected. If he adjusts his posture to face you when you speak or quickly turns back toward you after being distracted, it often reflects a strong wish to stay emotionally engaged. When this happens alongside longer looks, it suggests he's focused on more than light conversation. Some men may try to hide or soften their expressions because they want to appear respectful or calm, but interest still slips through in small ways. A raised eyebrow might look like mild surprise, but it could actually show curiosity or fascination. A slight head tilt combined with a gentle smile often carries a warm and inviting undertone. These signs usually appear together rather than alone, and they grow stronger as interest develops. The more his eyes move along your jawline, cheekbones, or lips, the more likely he is feeling drawn to you. There is also a deeper layer where facial expressions help build emotional closeness. A man who is attracted but also wants trust may begin to mirror your emotions without thinking. This is called emotional mirroring, and it comes from empathy. If you share something sad and his eyebrows lower slightly, or you smile and he reflects it instantly, he is likely syncing with your feelings unconsciously. This response strengthens connection, even when neither of you notices it happening. But if his mirroring is uneven, or his attention seems focused more on your appearance than your emotions, it may show that his interest is more surface level than emotional. So while eyes are often seen as the main indicator of attraction, the whole face reveals much more. A man who wants to grow closer won't always hold intense eye contact. Instead, he may let his gaze rest on your lips, subtly mirror your expressions, and send tiny signals of affection without saying a single word. These reactions are part of human psychology, and once you learn to notice them, they can reveal far more than spoken words ever could. Attraction isn't only about behavior or feelings, it's also biological. Behind every glance, every warm smile, every playful moment, complex chemical and hormonal responses are happening within the body, often without conscious control. These inner reactions shape how a man behaves when he feels a strong pull towards someone, even if he doesn't fully understand it himself. Two of the clearest biological signs of attraction are pupil changes and subtle shifts in his voice. Though delicate, they offer surprisingly honest clues about what he feels inside. Starting with the eyes, when a man is pulled towards someone, his pupils may automatically grow a little wider. This happens because the autonomic nervous system, which controls automatic functions like heartbeat, breathing, and pupil size, reacts to feelings of pleasure and interest. Pupil dilation also shows increased focus and attention. Studies show people often find faces with larger pupils more appealing, likely because we naturally recognize them as signs of heightened interest. So if his pupils look slightly bigger in steady lighting, it's often an unfiltered signal of attraction. Unlike a smile or compliment, this isn't something he can fake. It simply happens. Of course, lighting also affects pupil size, but if the environment stays the same and his pupils still widen when he looks at you, it's a natural biological response he may not even notice. At times, his eyes may also appear softer, brighter, or warmer. These are quiet signs of emotional pull. His voice is another revealing signal. When a man feels drawn to someone, his voice may naturally drop a little in pitch. This is rarely deliberate. It's a natural reaction shaped by evolution. A deeper tone is connected with confidence and calmness, traits long associated with strength. So around someone he feels drawn to, a man may speak more slowly, let his tone become warmer, or add a smoother rhythm to his words. These shifts aren't meant to impress. They are ways of holding attention and showing presence. Men also tend to use more variation in their tone when they are interested. There's often more playfulness, more warmth, or a relaxed rhythm in the way they speak. These subtle changes naturally draw you in and create a sense of closeness. Even breathing patterns can give clues. A man who feels something may breathe slightly faster, or his breath may become more noticeable during meaningful moments. He may pause more often, sometimes to hold eye contact, sometimes to steady himself, or simply to slow the interaction. What makes all of this interesting is that most of it happens without him realizing it. He may not notice his voice shifting or his pupils widening. He may think he is being calm and casual, but his body is revealing more than he intends. Unlike gestures or words, which can be controlled or even hidden, these biological reactions are harder to mask. They are honest. They show what's under the surface, even when he wants to appear composed. For women trying to understand a man's true intentions, these small signs, changes in his eyes, gentle smiles, a deeper tone, often say more than spoken words. They reveal a quiet truth that slips past charm or caution, offering a clearer picture of what he truly feels. Once you learn to notice these signals, attraction stops feeling like some confusing mystery. It turns into a language of its own, communicated through looks, pauses, small movements, and all the quiet moments in between. Of course, no single sign like pupils widening or his voice shifting should be taken as solid proof of how he feels. But when several of these natural cues appear together, especially along with actions like holding your gaze, moving a little closer, or offering light touches, they start to paint a bigger picture. Attraction isn't always bold or obvious, but the body often expresses what the mind is hesitant to say. If you're unsure about his interest, observe carefully. His eyes may already be telling a story his words are too guarded to reveal, and the sound of his voice might carry more emotion than the sentences he chooses. So when you're trying to understand whether a man truly likes you or is simply drawn to the idea of being close, the way he communicates can reveal far more than people expect. Often how he talks shows his real intentions even more clearly than his body language. Flirtatious talk tends to be light and filled with compliments about your appearance. He might praise your style, your smile, or the way you carry yourself, but it rarely goes deeper. He could add playful comments or try to test small boundaries with hints, trying to see how far he can go. That type of talk isn't about getting to know you. It's about creating excitement and getting a reaction. But a real conversation feels different. It moves at a slower, calmer pace. It carries more curiosity and feels emotionally grounded. A man who truly wants to understand you asks thoughtful questions. He's interested in your story, what shaped you, what you believe, what you've experienced, and how you see life. He listens not just to answer, but to genuinely understand the meaning behind your words. The rhythm of the conversation changes. It's not rushed or memorized. It turns into a safe space to explore who you are inside. That is the difference between someone trying to impress and someone